Hey, what's good, my friends? Thanks so much for checking out the Open Decks podcast. This week, Ryan and I sat down with our good friend Brandon Williams, who joined us from Honolulu, Hawaii by way of Wave Room. I think we might do that one in person next time. But we talked to Brandon about where he's at with his music production and DJ performances there in Hawaii and some of the plans he's got for this summer and beyond. Thanks again for stopping by. Hope you enjoy the conversation. Well, Brandon, thanks for joining us, man. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about your experience as a performer and hopefully a little bit about the experience you're having in Hawaii. Where in Hawaii are you?
Oahu. So Honolulu, pretty much, like right outside of Honolulu. Yeah, Waikiki Beach is a 20-minute walk from me, and then pretty much like pretty central of the city. Not like central of Oahu, but central of the city. Yeah, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course,
you guys.
Of course. Yeah, thank you. It's always good to talk to fresh faces and hear fresh voices, especially like
up and coming.
Yeah. I've had a chance to look at a couple of your YouTube sets, and it's always like I can tell like you're into it, right?
It's like we're in Brandon's world.
Yeah, no, I really like it. It's my favorite thing to do, honestly.
Yeah.
So what took you to Hawaii?
What took me to Hawaii was that I got out of the military and I needed to do some type of like program to get my bachelor's. And I was looking around all over the world, and I knew two things: that I didn't want to be somewhere where it got cold, and I didn't want to experience like bad weather. So I was like, okay, let me just shoot my shot everywhere. And the school that picked me up was UH, or University of Hawaii at Manoa. So that's why I'm here. Technically, I'm doing school through the GI Bill, the benefits that you get for being a veteran.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Yeah. Are you planning to stay there for the next like several years? Is it a 4-year program?
Yeah. I'm going to try to do a 4-year program. I may do like a semester abroad somewhere, but my plan is to build from here. Like this is the foundation, Hawaii.
Awesome. Yeah. Are you performing out in Honolulu?
Yeah, I perform out in Honolulu. There's like a little hole in the wall bars that I perform at. Then we do like pop-ups with my friends, and then there's like this really big club thing that like has resident DJs, but they'll have like someone like pop in every once in a while. It's called E14. I do there every once in a while.
Do they have open decks?
They do have open decks. Yeah, there's this place called Next Door. Every Wednesday they have open decks, and I have like made friends with the community, so they'll do pop-ups and they'll be like, hey, open decks for anyone that wants to like play. The issue is like in Hawaii, it's super hard to get a permit. So a lot of the times all of our parties end up getting shut down because it's impossible to get a permit here. I don't know if things are in Hawaiian time, but like we try to email them multiple times. They just never respond. And then they get mad at us for not having a permit, but they don't respond to the emails. And you're like, okay.
What a drag, man. The right way,
yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'll pay. Like, let me just play for 2 hours, like, So we end up throwing like these parties, and then it's like hush hush, and then all of a sudden the cops show up, and then
I'll see like just from time to time like our friends who were there, or maybe even through yours recently, but I'll see like Instagram stories, social stories of like the pop-ups and stuff. And it's funny because like some of the guys that we know here will throw a pop-up like in a parking lot. Yeah. It can't like touch the pop-up in Hawaii. Regardless of
Yeah. We have so many beaches and so many, I've only been here for like 7 months now. And like, it's insane how much hidden places there are in all over Hawaii. Like the island's small, but it feels big when you live here. There's so many like secrets and hidden things, and we talk to locals and people that have lived here. They're like, oh yeah, I know a spot you can go. I know a spot you can go. And that's the thing I like about Hawaii the most, is like everyone's super friendly and like super like willing to help you if you ask. If you ask, they'll help you, or they'll know somebody that can help you, which I love about it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's good to hear.
Right, yeah, that's the aloha spirit, I guess.
Yeah, the aloha spirit, but it's very welcoming for anyone.
Are you with the collective? You working with any other DJs? Are you still trying to kind of figure out where to fit in?
So I guess I'm kind of trying to figure out where to fit in, but I have like 2 friends. One's name is Igor and the other one's name is Ethan, and they just they like DJ as well, and we kind of like use our connections to like meet people and then get gigs and stuff. But the EDM community here is very, I would say it's very small because EDM is not that big on the island, but it's like a very active small community. So there's always events going on. But like compared to like, I would even say like compared to like Northern Virginia, obviously like Chicago, Miami, Denver, it's like a very small community. And it's like the parties are like they're never like super big. They have like a festival like once a year. That's like kind of big, but I've seen like, it's nothing compared to like where I came from, like Europe, like where a hell of people are going out to see them.
Yeah.
But I do have my two friends, Igor and Ethan. That's usually who I go out with and around, and that's who I do the pop-ups with, and that's who I make like my connections through. But yeah, all the time we just ask people like, hey, like, can I DJ at your place or can I DJ at your cafe? And most of the time they're either like, no, not now, but later, or they're like, yeah, you can do it.
Yeah, like it's just traversing towards more things. Like if you guys have like a awesome spot that's locally known, and then just offer them the like, hey, this is what we have now with like pizza spots.
Yeah, like so much of it is the social thing too, because the two collectives or the two promotion groups that do it well, Shift and Coffee Club Social.
Coffee Club, yeah.
Like you know like there's those guys and those gals who just have that like magnetic personality and charm. I don't have it, so I
think you're doing pretty well.
I'm like, you have the idea. You're like, let's do like house music in a coffee shop. It sounds amazing. Yeah. I'm gonna do it, and you like get 10, 12 people. And then you watch somebody else with that like that charm. They're bringing like 40, 50 people, and you're like, I can't believe I just wasted. Like,
we build. Like, we all got to start somewhere. I feel like there's a rise of like pop-ups in like random spots because like I'm not an economics person, but I feel like we're like inflation's high, we're low key in a recession, and like nobody wants to go like out to the club anymore. Like no one's like the night party life is kind of dying, I feel like, and that's coming from a person that likes to go out at night. But like I'll see. What's up? Sorry.
It's not a focal point for the youth anymore, it seems.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of day parties are happening, like pop-ups in like cafes and like restaurants and like pizza places and laundromats. And I feel like it's just because like it's a way. Yeah, I've seen laundromats. Like, people just pull up in the laundromat, like surround a DJ with a table and a good speaker. So like, I feel like it's more accessible. You don't have to pay like the $40 cover to go in. You can bring your own alcohol if you want to bring alcohol, and then have a good time with like friends. Like it's a lot of like, I feel like it's like a lot of house party vibes, except you're not in a house.
Yeah. Again, there's people who do it. People who do it well. People who are adventurous enough to do it. And like I've said many times on this show and elsewhere, like I'm all for it. Like the more the merrier. You know, the best. I feel like each one of these events, regardless of its creativity, originality, doesn't matter. It continues to push us to find ways to bring music to more people and to get more creative in our own styles. And ultimately, like, I don't really care. Laundromat, probably not my first choice, but I'll check it out. Right? Like, why not?
Yeah, hey, I'm saying like 15 to 20 people in a small laundromat looks like that's a packed place. You know what I mean? It's all about optics, perspective.
Yeah. What's your preference in terms of genre or music styles?
Genre? Okay, so like I'm having like this battle between like the two that I really like. I really like that groovy, like funky, like house. And then I also like that like emotional tech house, kind of leading to melodic techno. Like not like hard techno. I feel like that's a little bit too much for me. But like the melodic techno and like melodic emotional like tech house, that's like perfect to me. I like to listen to it, but like I also like to like feel, you know, the emotions in the music.
By the way, and I found out about this late. Brandon went to Tomorrowland as well.
I did. I was there.
So when you said that, I expressed so much of like what I felt inspired with was like when I got to see the biggest DJs in the world perform there, and for you, what was the experience like for you there? What was your like favorite thing that you experienced?
I definitely, my favorite thing at Tomorrowland, first thing I was like, just the people that like go to these things, I like the best people in the world. But I think, what's up? Sorry.
Especially the European crowd.
Yeah, the European crowd is so nice. Like you think that like as an American, like you see all these things about Europe and how they're like standoffish and yada 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 blah 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 blah. But no, in Tomorrowland it felt very welcoming. A lot of just good vibes and friendly faces, even for like strangers that you've never met. But my favorite part of Tomorrowland, like in the music side, was like getting there early and then seeing like, I wouldn't say small DJs, but like lesser known DJs play more intimate sets, because day one everyone's in there like running around. But day two, if you get there before like 3, it opens at 12. Like the doors open at 12. You'll see like it's like empty because everyone's dead from the night before. So you'll get in there and then you'll see like these DJs that are booked to play at Tomorrowland playing to like for like 5-6 people because it's so dead. One of my favorite DJs, I met him at Tomorrowland before I knew he was like playing. His name is E-Wave, and his set was real. It was amazing. One, but like he played at like one of the smaller stages, and he threw down like if he was like playing for like main stage. Like it was amazing to like see that. And I met him in the campgrounds at Tomorrowland, so it's like whoa, like I had no idea he was a DJ. He's like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna perform. Like, are you gonna come? I'm like, are you performing like here? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna perform. Like, invited me on, not to play, but like invited me to his set and then watch his set, and it was amazing.
That's gonna be you next time. It's gonna be
you. It's gonna be us. What do you mean? It's gonna be us. We're all gonna do it. We're all gonna do it. We're all gonna do it. We gotta bring each other up. Let's do it. I'm down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's very inspiring to see, because he started like when he was a kid, and then like just slowly got better at making music and building connections and crafting his own sound, and now he's playing at Tomorrowland. He just actually played at Tomorrowland Winter, like main stage, and it was cool because like the year before he was playing at a smaller stage at Tomorrowland Summer. So I was like, whoa, that's an inspiring thing to see.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was like one of my favorite parts of Tomorrowland, outside of like just hanging out with my friends and
all
like exploring the campgrounds.
All it takes is just vision, you know.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said he had a dream since he was a kid, and he just kept working on it, honing on his craft every day. And I was like, that's so inspiring.
Yeah.
Other than Tomorrowland, you been to other festivals around the world?
I just went to the Palm Tree Festival here in Hawaii on the North Shore, and it was really good. They only had one stage, so I'm like, it's kind of, you can see the levels to this. Like Hawaii is very small when it comes to the EDM community, but it was very nice. That was very nice. And I've been to like Tomorrowland Winter. But when it comes to like American festivals, I really got into EDM when I lived in Germany. I haven't been to any big festivals outside of like EDC 2018, like, and I kind of like don't really remember much of that, to be honest with you.
Those questions are for a different podcast. It's all good though. Yeah, I'm curious. Tell me. So, Ryan and I talked about this, and on the show and elsewhere. Like, you know, I've not been to a lot of festivals, but I one that's like my top of my list is Tomorrowland Winter, because I'm the opposite, man. I want to be cold weather. I want snow. I want mountains. I want hockey. I want all the like cold stuff.
Yeah.
Tell me about Tomorrowland Winter. I'm curious. I want to know your experience.
Okay, bold take. Hot take. I think Tomorrowland Winter is better than Tomorrowland Summer, and I like the hot. I like the heat. I know, crazy take. But because you have activities to do outside of just like partying all the time. I don't get me wrong, I love to party, but like going to like a cool set and then being able to snowboard to your next set, and then like go up the ski lift and then like talk to random snowboarders and skiers. And the thing about Tomorrowland Winter is like on an active ski lodge. So you'll meet people that aren't there for Tomorrowland. Like you just meet people that are there to ski and snowboard. So
and there's less people who are influencers going there because they're like, I can't wear this outfit and it's too cold.
Yeah, there's definitely less influencer vibes. There's still some there, but it's definitely less influencer, and it's just smaller. It's a smaller festival compared to Tomorrowland Summer. A lot of people that I met at Tomorrowland, the normal Tomorrowland, didn't even know about Tomorrowland Winter, and there's one in Brazil too, like that nobody even knew about. So it's I think it's better because you have the ability to ski, you have the ability to snowboard, which is what I do, and then even on the mountain, it's in March, the end of March. It's not as cold as you'd think. It's like I would say like 40 to 50 degrees up there, so it's not really that bad.
Yeah,
especially when you're doing all these activities. So.
I hear you, man. It's like on my list for all those reasons, right? Like it's, I don't have the same basis for comparison, but like, just it's a more, it's like it's not that it's more intimate, but like you were describing. This is what I've heard from others too. Is that there's people who aren't there for the festival that you're going to run into, just in the course of your daily activities. And I think that's kind of cool. It's kind of like a unique experience to be there for this massive international festival, but also kind of have people who are like, yeah, I don't care. I'm doing my own thing,
Yeah. You get kind of the Europe like vibes as well as like the festival vibes combined into one place. It's amazing. And when at like 6 p.m. is when they close the mountain and then they open up like the festival grounds, which is its own thing. So like you have from like 12 to 6 p.m. the like mountain and there's like 5 or 6 stages on the mountain, and you can like snowboard to each one or ski to each one, or you can take, if you don't snowboard or ski, like there's people that don't know how to snowboard or ski and they go to Tomorrowland Winter and you can just take the lifts there. And then you have that, and then when that is all done, they shut the mountain down and then they open up the festival grounds.
Don't get too excited, Tommy. Don't get too excited.
So tell us more about your you're talking about your style preferences, your music preferences, melodic techno, and kind of the groovier house stuff. Like, are you? Is that what you're playing out? Is that what you're playing like when you're kind of practicing or just getting into it? Are you more experimental?
It's like the more emotional side of it, right?
Yeah, I like to listen to the more emotional side, but when I'm playing, I play a lot of just like groovy tech house. And then like I'll lean into the emotional side, but the crowd that I usually play to is more like they're not there to like, you know what I mean? They're more there to into like the boppy, like clubby, like they want to dance. Yeah. So like I can't really like have like a 2-minute break of like strings and like orchestra swells in the middle of the club, and everyone's just like, "What the hell is going on here?" Yeah. So it's just
not like you're at Tomorrowland with fountains.
Exactly. I'm at Tomorrowland. Can you feel the music? No, it's more just like more boppy, like upbeat, like tech house, like 128 to 135 ish BPM. So that's where I lean. But when I'm playing for myself and like for like the YouTube sets, I'll do like whatever. I like to emotional tech house. I like to listen to that, like Cream, John Summit, for like those are big names in that space.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I the YouTube set that I just did last week was like, I was going through and just looking back through the track list, and it's like 2 hours, but there's only like 27 tracks, I think. So like,
I realized that like I like playing tracks out, to be honest with you. Like some people, well, I'm not gonna. Oh, I think it's just a different style of DJing because I feel like. Yeah. Club DJing and EDM club DJing is like two different things. Like when you go to I don't even like going to clubs anymore, but they'll switch the song like every like 2 minutes or every minute to like 30 seconds, and that's not really my vibe. I like to kind of like listen to the progression of the song, like a story, and see where the DJ is trying to take me on his journey. But I understand for them it's different because like they have like a more like, the crowd's out there to just listen to like songs that they know.
Yeah, it's like it's force feeding you drops and drops and drops.
Yeah, exactly. Banger, banger. Yeah,
just like straight up like messing with the audience.
Mm-hmm, and, exactly. Yeah, it's not much of a journey. It's just kind of just like climax, break, break, climax. I'm like, okay, yeah, which is cool. Like you said, it's for that crowd that they have, it works because they're not like EDM, you know what I mean? They're not just going there to learn music. They're going there to hear songs that they like and then dance. And I'm like, I understand that. But I'm more of like on the other side. I like to like take the people on a journey.
And this just time for the iPad.
There we go. Sorry, man. We got a visitor. First time in a while, these guys have interrupted the podcast. Sorry, Brandon.
Hey, can you say hi to Brandon?
Say hi, Brandon. I've had the kids by myself for 3 days.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And you're still trying to have 2 podcasts and record a YouTube set. Dang.
I just locked myself in this basement office and whatever happens out there.
I love it.
Sorry for the interruption, man. My bad.
No worries.
We talked about this before too. I don't think I need to stop saying that because everybody knows we talked about this before.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think there's anything like wrong with the energy that comes with, shorter clips and whatever. It's not my preference. And we've heard Sean talk about like the emotion and the adrenaline, the difference and things like that. And, yeah.
That's what I was thinking about, the difference with the main stage, and then you go all the way to where Freedom Stage is, and that's where you find like the dark room, the storytelling.
Yeah, they actually like take you on a journey. Main stage are playing the hits for an hour, but it makes sense because you know what I mean. Like that's what people want to hear.
The adrenaline side, is that what Sean said? Adrenaline side.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more on the emotional side where I'm at, like the adrenaline of like the constant the drops and stuff. But but I like, in addition to the storytelling, I think what makes it, I think for me at least, musically, enjoyable is like the layering, right? And so like, yeah, letting tracks play out to some degree, but like it's the layering, right? So that layering and that build with progressive, melodic, organic stuff like is what makes it. Especially when you have like longer sets, right? In an hour, it's really hard to capture that. When you're doing 2, 3, 4, 5 hour sets, like you really capture that storytelling element and are able to demonstrate it and show it through like the layering and mixing.
Yeah, I mean, like think about like some people, they just flawlessly go for a whole 2 hours, not even realizing they mixed in the next track.
Yeah,
that's a special thing for a DJ to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a talent that I'm trying to get better at. But I've been listening to like some Solomon sets, and like he goes on for like 3-4 hours, and I'm like, dude, this dude. But I feel like when you're in it, like you don't even notice how like the time go by. You know what I mean? Especially like when you get that flow state, it's like, I love when that happens. Like, oh, I know exactly the next song to play next, and the song to play next after that, and I know exactly when to mix in. It happens every once in a while, but when it does, I'm like, okay, I'm cooking. You don't realize until you listen to the recording afterwards.
I like being trapped in my house sometimes. Sometimes that's why I am a hermit. Sometimes I just love to, because I have no one to do this for. And the experimentation process takes place, and then you're just like, I'm going to get lost here. Let's see how long this will take me to figure out where I'm going with this and my creative attitude, and it just unfolds, and you're just like unexpectedly doing things that you would never normally would do in real life or performing live in front of people.
It's kind of crazy it's kind of crazy that like for DJing, like you need to be like both introverted and like have extroverted energy. Like in order like to be able to create the sets and create your music, that's a lot of like introverted, like you're by yourself, in a room listening to the same thing over and over again. And then you have to be able to like take that and then be extroverted and perform in front of people. It's kind of crazy how like it combines both sides of this.
Yeah. It's it's the yin and the yang is all like happening all at the same time, right? It's just like continuous flow, and I like you've got that whatever that gift is that you're able to just like laser focus into your music for hours at a time and then repeat it day after day, right? Because you're very prolific on Mixcloud and social media. Like you're playing a lot. Like I wouldn't say I'm the opposite, but like I get very frustrated when I'm solo because I'll be into like a mix for 45 minutes or an hour, and I'll start to get like it'll be imperfect, right? And I can't accept the imperfections, and so I'll just like I'm done, starting over.
Yeah,
I'm not going, right? Like, but
I'm totally
when I was
more like you.
yeah, it's the middle ground is like when I'm if I've got if my wife is in here and she's listening to it, or if I'm over, at Pete's when I was recording the set the other night, like they're not even thinking about it, right? They might hear the imperfections because we've heard the music and we get it, but they're not thinking about like, oh, that was that part sucked. They're thinking about, all right, let's see what's next, and getting that like reassurance. Especially again doing it 2-3 hours at a time is incredibly beneficial. Now, when you're in the room with 100 people plus whatever it happens to be, that's constant, right? That constant feedback from 100 people.
Yeah, I love that. That's my favorite.
Yeah, that's pressure cooker, man. Yeah.
Like we had a little pop-up thing called like Beats on the Beach before the cops shut it down. Rest in peace. But we had this thing, this big pop-up, and like there were like, I would say like roughly 100 people, because usually when I'm opening, it's like I would say like roughly like 20 to 30 people, and then the other DJ comes over, and then more people come in. But I would say like 100 people, because it was just on the beach, like so we're like playing music at the beach, and we made this like kind of fake dance floor in the sand, and like hella people just came out of nowhere, and like there were fireworks going off the coast, and I was like, wow, this is like a very beautiful moment. But yeah, I would say like 100 people roughly. Yeah, but we're gonna keep expanding and building from here. Only month 7, we're gonna keep going. There's a lot of collective, or not a lot, there's one big collective out here called centered events, and they throw a lot of like parties and EDM centered events. So I'm gonna try to get in touch with them, or we're already in touch with them, and see if we can make something happen. But
yeah, we're ready to blow you up out there, dude.
Hey, yeah, dude, you guys can come. I'm telling you, I'm gonna set the foundation, and then we can like build from there.
Can you get?
But it's happening.
It first,
yeah. What's up? Oh no, we're not gonna play in places where we don't need a.
I just want to do a one of those sets. It's like someone's like creating a surfboard while I'm like saying like he's in the background, shaping a board.
We have a lot of houses that we can play at. It's just we can't play at public beaches. Right. But there's a lot of houses we can play at, and there's a lot of private I wouldn't say clubs, but like private spaces. Like there's a pool, like a pool place that we have. And then there's, what's it called? There's like a bar. It's like a hotel lobby, but it's like a bar, pool. It's outside. So bar, pool, and then DJ. So it's actually really nice.
Pool. There you go.
I love it.
Yeah, no, exactly. We're working. Like, come back in like 2 or 3 months. I'm like a completely different. Like, it'll be like, I have this.
I'm skipping Tomorrowland and everything just to do that.
No, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Like I said, the EDM community out here is very, I would say, small, but like they're very into it. So you get a lot of you'll see a lot of the same people show up, and they're like, oh yeah, I remember you. Like you get in contact with my boy, he's a DJ, he makes music, yada yada yada. And the island's small, so like once you know like one person, like 10 other people. You get put in a group chat, and you're like, oh hey, there's this people, like here's where the next party's gonna be. Hush, hush, don't say anything.
I might meet another guy named Ryan Soho over there.
Yeah, you probably will. You probably will. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
Trademark that.
Trademark it. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Super dope.
What's the predominant, are there any predominant like genres or styles? Is like a lot of tech house and like more EDM mainstream stuff? Is that kind of the predominant course, or are you finding things that are more
organic house is what I was thinking, but
no, actually, the genre that's the most popular out here is like bass heavy genres. Dubstep, bass house.
Okay.
I was like, what the heck? Coming from Europe.
Yeah.
Coming from Europe, I was like, what the heck is this? Like, don't get me wrong, I like dubstep, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I was coming from like a tech house and like house.
Who's normally booked from, like, say, the States that goes there to do shows?
So no one usually comes unless it's like for a festival. Like we just had Palm Tree Fest. We had the Chainsmokers, Alesso, and they played tech house and stuff. But like when it comes to like bass. I'm not sure because I don't really follow bass heavy events too often. But I did just see Matroda was here like 2 weeks ago.
Matroda's badass.
Yeah, and he played tech house. So I was like, okay, perfect. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a lot of bass heavy genres. Surprisingly, a sneaky amount of drum and bass gets played out here. And I'm like, what? Yeah, I know. That's what I said. I'm like, drum and bass? Like, what the heck? It's such a surprise to hear because when I think of drum and bass, I think of like the UK. That's where it's big. But no, there's a very like big EDM or a big in the small EDM community of like drum and bass and like bass heavy music, rhythm, bass house, dubstep. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, but like I'm more into like the groove of the house, you know. Like I like the groove and like I like the minimalism of like techno. That's also dope. But that's because like when I got like super into EDM, it was in Germany, and in Germany, that's like there's no bass heavy music.
Tell us a story about Germany.
About Germany.
What was your inception? Why were you there?
I was in Germany because I was stationed out there for through the military when I was in the military. And I was stationed out there 2020 to 2024, and I got there during COVID, so like everything was locked down because Germany took that stuff really seriously. And then one day they opened it up, and then I was like, or one day, a year after I got there, they opened it up, and I was like, I need to be outside immediately because it was my first ever real summer in Europe, and I was going all over the place, and I was hearing this music that I knew I liked, but I was like, why? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you go to like the Mediterranean, or you go to Berlin, especially, and you'd hear like music that's not played on the radio, but you're like, oh, this is like hypnotic. It's like melodic, and like it's groovy. And I'm like, I really like this style of music. So I looked deeper into it, and I went to how I started DJing was I went to Prague, and this dude was playing a set, and I was like, this dude is really messing up this set, because I was like, I don't really like the way he's doing it. So I was like, you know what? Let me talk to him. So I get behind the DJ decks, and I'm like, hey man, like how much do you get paid to DJ? And he's like, I get paid $800 a night. I'm like, you get paid $800 in my head. I was like, you get paid $800 a night to mess up music. I'm like, I get paid $800 a night to mess up music too. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying, €800 a night. And I'm like, okay, cool. So literally I got back in Prague, I bought a DJ controller, and then I started learning how to DJ. But when I was going out, I was hearing like this music that like I'd never heard before. Like, or I've heard of it before, but I never looked into it. Cause I was more like of a commercial like rap and hip hop enjoyer before. Yeah. And I was listening to it. I'm like, what is this? So I'm like looking more into it, and I discover that the music that I like is called house music and like techno. And I'm like, oh, this is dope. So I got more. I pretty much like once I discovered it, I kind of like went all in, and now I'm like super obsessed with it. Yeah. But we go to places all over the city, all over Europe, and you'll find things like that. But like one of the big places out there, as most people know, is like Berlin. And like Berlin, they have like this different vibe when it comes to like techno. It's like you go there
before Tomorrowland.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Literally looked like everyone was just coming out of a techno club.
Yeah. On like a Saturday morning, everyone's coming in or going into like a club. And I'm like, I was just getting into the music. So like we go into like these clubs, and they take your phone, and like you go in there and you'd be listening to like the music, and the sound systems in these clubs were like the best that I ever, like the quality of the sound that was being produced was like the best that I've ever heard in my entire life. So that was another reason that I just liked EDM, because I feel like they really took time to like craft like the sound, because I feel like when you go to like commercial clubs or clubs that aren't focused around EDM, they don't really care for the sound. They just care that you're like buying drinks and then bottle service, yada yada yada. Exactly. But when you go to EDM clubs, especially ones in like Berlin, Paris, Amsterdam, Copenhagen, Prague, you find people that are going there like literally just to dance. Like they'll be completely sober, just dancing, and you'll talk to them. They'll have the coolest stories about how they're like backpacking backpacking Europe, and like going around, just bopping around, and like they just love the scene. And they're so nice to you, and you'll meet them. You'll potentially never see them again, but they act like you've known each other for like
you explained it perfectly. My small sample size, when I was in Amsterdam, I was explaining to him these guys appreciate this music more. They dance, they just on a level. We got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, culturally, I mean, it's from what I hear, I've only been out in Europe a few times, and but yeah, it's a completely different feel than here, where it's like it's a lot of status, a lot of social groups, and the social group thing I understand, like, because it's so competitive here and it's so saturated with DJs that a lot of it does depend on your social group. So it becomes like, hey, like my friend who's a DJ got a gig here, and that's where you take your friends. The same way you would take your friends to, you know, a bar to, like, you know, see, you know, a game or anything else or whatever. Like, so I understand from that vantage point. At the same time, I think you tell me if I'm wrong, but one of the key differentiators I hear is like the crowd gatekeeping is much more of a thing here than over there, meaning like you get these social circles who do well in this area, and then you show up just to enjoy the music, and some people are like, the hell's who's that? What's he doing here? It's like, I just like the music. I don't, you know, whereas what you're describing is more like, let's go, come on, everybody.
Yeah, 1000% more welcoming, especially if they find out you're American and you're into it. They're like, oh, you're into this kind of music. Like, oh, let me show you like the best places to go. Let me show you everything.
I mean, I think we're you know, because we're taking center stage, because everything about like our club culture is always based around the top 100 pop and rap, hip hop. That's their baseline over there. They, you know, like I said, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They live for that 24/7. Yeah.
The scene in the U.S., again, that's a broad statement because it's a big country, right? But like, it's when you talked about earlier, like club culture is I don't know if it's dying, but it's definitely it's shifting to something that's less focused on 500 people in the room drinking,
staying till like 4 o'clock in the morning.
And so with those alcohol sales, when that dynamic changes, like something's got to shift to match the market or to meet the market. And whether it's ticket prices that keep large venues open, or it's new venues like pizza shops and coffee shops or whatever that keep it going, something is definitely shifting, because the musical taste has reached a point where it's not simply go get drinks, go to the bathroom stall, and, you know, do whatever it is you have to do to get yourself happy there. So something's got to change to maintain that kind of U.S. At the forefront, because it can't sustain itself financially if clubs are closing, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, that makes sense. It's alcohol's getting expensive. People are making less money. Jobs are hard to find. So we're seeing a shift, a very interesting shift in club culture.
I mean, it does have to shift. I mean, like underground, and these guys kind of like, I'm gunning for that. Hopefully somebody just goes, all right, I'm just gonna send messages and private messages about having a party and the most, you know.
But I think there are people who are capturing like the underground feel of the event without the pressure to consume much more than the music, right? Heaven Dancing Club's a good example around here.
Absolutely.
So like they're capturing the music, they're capturing the audience, the market, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if you haven't talked to those guys in a long time, but like I don't know if they would say they're after the market necessarily, because they're just trying to bring cool experiences. But they're capturing the market nonetheless, because they're finding different venues. They're like a little secretive, but they still have a social media presence, right? They're not like completely like underground, and I think that's seems to be working certainly for them.
Like I mean, I like in the fact that it's sort of like in fact a counter to why they have to make it like a position of like, you know, inclusiveness, and not like. And nowadays, I mean, you go to a club. I just explained how etiquette has kind of just been lost with electronic music clubs. I don't know what I could describe it as. Like the last time I went to a big show. I don't want to describe the place, but a fight broke out at the end of that night, and that was just like, oh my gosh, guys, what? I don't know what that's. I don't want to see that.
It's weird. It's the opposite of what you expect, but I mean, it's. there's certainly these shifts going on, and we'll hopefully be a part of the side that bends toward music, and that's what we're continuing to do, and that's what the people we're talking to are certainly in that same vein as well. Some change subject for a second, because something you said earlier stuck with me. You talked about your kind of pre-electronic music, pre-EDM preferences. You talked about like hip hop, and I'm just curious if any of your kind of pre-enlightenment, if you will, music influences are finding their way into your music or into your sets as you're performing, or even as you're just like finding new music to play.
Yeah, I would say it is. I really liked disco before I knew what it was, and my mom would listen to a lot of like disco, soul, and just that type of like vibe in the kitchen. And I remember listening to it as a kid, and like I still have a lot of the songs saved on Spotify. But like good soul samples, I'll be crate digging, looking for like a good sample of like a singer or a good soul sample in a song, and I do find myself leaning towards that. Like unintentionally, like I'll be just making like a loop in FL Studio, and I'll unintentionally like throw in like a soul sample, and then I'll put some like, I'll look up some keys, like some chord progressions, and I'm like, oh wait, this literally just sounds like like a song that I used to listen to back in my mom's kitchen. So yeah, I do find myself leaning that way.
I think that's it. The nostalgia thing is a factor.
Yeah, it feels good to me because like it's just nostalgia. It brings me back there, and I love making a good, messing around and making a good remix of a popular hip hop song. I feel like it's kind of easy nowadays because like everything's 4/4, so it's just like speed it up, put a house beat behind it, and then call it a day. But
all the DAWs, yours is FL Studio mainly.
Yeah, FL is my main. Yeah, I'm trying to tamper with Ableton, but I invested so much time into FL. I'm scared to make this switch forward. But everyone uses Ableton. Everyone uses Ableton.
You got to. Are you connected with, or are you following Reed Jackson or Coffee Club Social or Cafe Disco?
I have not. This is my first time hearing about them. Are they?
I'll connect you to those guys, because they're, as you're describing. So they've kind of created this new genre called Soul Tech.
Ooh, I like that.
I'm full of shit. Maybe Soul Tech already existed, but they seem to be pioneering it. But they're here in the DC area, guys that we know, and same thing, right? Like talking about what their parents and their family listen to, and finding a way to bring it back in. And those guys have been, again, good friends to us, and we've got an event. It will be announced by now, so we are going to collaborate with them to do an Open Decks event in DC later in July. So like, we're fine. Like, again, we're like, it's not about us. We're finding the right people, but those guys should connect with them, because they're hitting that same vibe of like that soulful disco housey, right? Like, I think you'll connect with those guys and enjoy their sound, because he's put out some of the same things. Like Reed Jackson has put out some of his own remixes, put out some of his own original stuff too, and it's got that
a special thing going on with that, because it's like you're just like,
that's very unique.
Has their own, like, scene, their own sound, if anything, or they're the pioneers for something.
Are you producing anything on your own right now?
Yeah, I am producing a couple of songs. Like I kind of just mess around in the DAW and then make songs with my friends, but like I'm starting to take it a little bit more seriously. I like to just like I said, for the most part, just mess around and then create whatever comes to my mind. Or like I try to make a song that sounds like another song, because I think that's like a good way to learn how to produce, and like just take like a reference track and like not try to recreate it, but like take elements from it and then like try to make it in reimagine it in your own style. But yeah, I do produce. I just finished a song today with my friends, my roommates, and we like recorded it, just messed around in the vocals, and then like I literally like would look on Google like how to make like how to compress vocals, how to do everything.
Yeah,
I'm like
Trust me,
just
that's
learning it
all of us
live.
are doing
That's
it
what it takes,
nowadays.
man.
Yeah.
I know. Chat GPT, like, what should I put my fruity compressor to? I'm like, I don't know. Like, ratio should be this.
Yeah. How to chain all
Yeah.
of it and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what vocal chain should I use? How to master music? Because
Yeah.
it's an art form, but which means you have like your creative liberty, but at the same time, there are rules that you should abide by if you want your sound to sound like listenable. I don't have a specific sound. Like I kind of just make whatever I feel like making, and then throw it. Like I'm kind of just throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks. But like if they give me like a direction, like I would listen to the music, I can definitely like push like an EP or something in that direction and see where it takes me. You know, and then I can take the elements of that sound and then bring it into my future sound. Because right now I'm kind of like I said, all over the place, but I'm like open to anything. Like if I like the sound, I'll stick with it.
You have a background in either instrumental music or vocal music yourself?
I played piano when I was younger, so I understand music theory, which has really helped. I didn't under I don't play the piano anymore, but it's really helped with just like understanding how to make chord progressions and like things that sound like nice to the ear.
Yeah,
Because I couldn't imagine. Yeah, I couldn't imagine having to learn music theory on top of learning everything that you have to do in the DAW, on top of learning like wave tables and like how to mix and how to master. Like that'd be a lot. But I have the basic foundation of music theory, like minor sevens, minor nines, and how to make a chord and how to make a chord progression that sounds good.
Do you find yourself using that to drive some of the work you're doing on production, or do you find the reverse is true, where like you're kind of doing it more like intuitively or innate, and then after the fact you're able to say like, oh yeah, it makes sense because it like aligns to music theory or to my own experience or whatever?
I find that I lean on for the creation phase of a song. I'll like come up with some chords on the piano, and I find that that's what like it's like does the spark of whatever song. I'll find the things that I'll make something that sounds cool in like Serum or just on the piano, and I'll use that as like the basic layer, and then I'll build around that. So I guess it'd be the first thing that you said. I lean on my music theory and knowledge first, and then I see where that takes me afterwards. Yeah, because I kind of just go with what I know in the beginning, and then I'm like, okay, that's when I'm like in YouTube watching tutorials. That's when I'm Googling like how to do this, how to make this sound. And a lot of times it just comes from like reference tracks, and I'll just be listening to a song that I like, and I'm like, okay, I like the way he did this. I'm gonna try to put that in my song.
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, I'm not producing my own music, but as I've thought about it over the last several years, like that's kind of what I've had in my mind as a way to, like, it's somewhere between like having a template and like having a step-by-step direction. Is like find the track, find music that's familiar. But what's happened to me is like my preferences have changed so much over time that like I don't know which ones I want to start down that path with. But it sounds like you're certainly putting the time into it, and I'm looking forward to hearing some of your own stuff, original stuff.
So we're sending, you're full send with like so far. I mean, like I kind of dabbled, and then I was just like, man, the more I kind of got sucked into it, I was like, I have to do other things right now.
No, 1,000%. It takes a lot of time, and I will admit that my DJing, like the skill of DJing, has suffered due to the fact that I've been more on the producing side. Like some of my mixes, I was just like, it was kind of boring because like I was too afraid to like try something, or like didn't practice as much as I should have, because I've been spending all that time that I should have been like practicing my set or like creating like a better vibe on like learning how to produce music better. Yeah, and then that's not even.
You're probably feeling like you're not present in the moment, and you're rather like trying to tinker with this melody.
Exactly. Like literally, like I'm like, oh my goodness, like it's a lot of brain power that needs to be invested in different ways, and that's not even like it doesn't even contribute, or not contribute. It doesn't even include making content. Like making content is pretty much the name of the game nowadays.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother skill that you need to learn on top of knowing how to produce, on top of knowing how to DJ. Like, because like you were saying, like the underground thing that you were talking about, like even though they could have like the best sound system, but if nobody knows about it, then nobody's gonna come.
Yeah.
And it's if people do, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, people can't resist the content, can't resist the creation.
No,
right?
it kind of sucks, but it's kind of the name of the game. Social media, like you have to have, like your song can be amazing, but if nobody hears it, nobody hears it.
Yeah. Like
so that's a whole nother skill. Exactly. Yeah. Tomorrowland. Like it's a whole nother skill. It's like how to market yourself, how to brand. Yeah. And like, I'm like, how do I have time to learn how to DJ, how to produce, how to mix, how to master, how to make content? Like you have to do so many things. I'm like, gosh, dang. It just comes with time. But that's the best part about having, I think, a team. Like I mentioned earlier, my friends Igor and Ethan, they're like, we're all good at different things. And it's like kind of cool to see us like collab. I think you'll go a lot further when you do things like this, where we like talk about the struggles of being a DJ, or like our experiences being a DJ, our experience producing, because like you guys probably, like I would even say, are way better DJs than I am. And then I can learn stuff from you. And then whenever you guys start producing, I'm like, oh yeah, I can teach you some things about mixing, mastering, and music theory. And we can lean on each other to go further together.
Yeah, there's so many dimensions to this whole thing that like, there's like at the top, you've got performance and production. And then from there, you can break each of those down into 100 different things that on any given thread, right? Like you can cross-pollinate the knowledge and kind of cross-train each other on it. And it goes on forever, right? It's not like all the music that's ever been imagined has been created. Like, no, there's still new stuff coming out, even if it doesn't feel like it sometimes.
Attitude is everything possible. Just stay creative.
I 100% agree. I think the sky's the limit, honestly. You just got to keep pushing every day.
So tell us what's going on for you this summer. What are you looking forward to? You got any events on the calendar or anything that you're, other than are you going to Tomorrowland again, or are you going?
Not this time. Not this time. I just moved to Hawaii, so I'm kind of like chilling on.
You're okay. You get a pass from Ryan to stick around.
How's that plane ride? I wouldn't know how long that would take.
25 hours to get to Europe.
No,
not plus layover. Not this time.
What's going on for you this summer? What do you got?
This summer, me and my friends, more pop-ups, more connections. Like, so this summer, since I just moved here, it's my first Hawaiian summer. So I'm not really sure what to be looking for. But I've made in the last 7 months, I've met a lot of people and made a lot of good connections. And they've been telling me about events and things that are happening. So right now, I guess this summer, I'm going to be more of an attendee and just a supporter of local DJs and see where things are happening, what things are happening, and just be more involved in that environment. That way I can, when the winter comes around or fall comes around, I can play more at more places and be like a familiar face in the crowd, because I don't have, like, obviously I'm not like popping off on social media or anything, but like if you're like, I feel like it's easier to ask to play when when the owner and the people that go there often are more familiar with you than like just popping up and being like, hey, like I have a DJ too, like, you know what I mean? So now the summer is really like a building summer, because one, it's my first summer in Hawaii, and two, I'm in a lucky like place where like summertime is kind of all year long. So like you can kind of like, I can like meet people over the summer for the summer parties, because that's when an influx of tourism comes. And then I can still play at the same places, maybe with like less people. But it'll still be like that same tropical, nice, summery vibe, because the weather is always like 60 plus here, 65 plus here. Sun's always out. So this summer is more about building connections and then just making more music and working with more people to craft my sound.
Well, I feel like you're accomplishing a lot with the timeline so far since you've been there. You just kind of hit the ground running, right?
Yeah, I kind of did hit the ground running. As soon as I got here, I was looking for like events and things, because I really want to make something out of my time here. And I feel like Hawaii is such a magical place to do it. Even though, like I said, the EDM scene is not that big, it's very intimate, and like the people that are in the EDM scene are very like into the music. So I came here with the goal of making connections and trying to build a platform and a brand. And I've met a lot of people, and we were all working together and doing things. And I think by the end of the year, we'll have something like palpable and able to like spring off of that. Like, I think it's only a matter of time because we're always working every single day, even if it's like 5-10 minutes a day on something, on whether it's sound or like DJ tips or watching like tutorials together or like just giving advice on each other's songs. So it's super nice and it's super wholesome, and the views here are amazing. And the cool thing about this place is you'll meet like tourists and they'll be like, oh yeah, I do this in the music industry, I do this in the music industry. So it's a very like some people are here for like temporary or not that here that long, but you still get to like experience them because they're here on vacation.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. It sounds like you got it lined up. You're well on your way, and like we're obviously going to be following you over the course of summer, and you know, if not in person this year, certainly soon, man. We're excited for you. We're
I guess we're all doing Tomorrowland winter.
Tomorrowland winter 2027, not 2026. 2026, I got a couple of them.
Yeah, exactly.
2027, Tomorrowland winter, we got to go.
I'm doing it. I got to find somewhere to put these kids. So
take them with
totally
you. Yeah, no.
I know one of them might have a good time, but no, man, we're excited for you. Like we're definitely rooting for you, and looking forward to.
You have the right energy to do everything. You could do Tomorrowland, summer, winter.
Thank you.
Thank you. We got to experience a festival together before. Like we have to. On stage and we're like, hey, can we get guests? He's like,
whoa. I'll always remember. And same goes for you guys as well. Yeah. Like you guys are doing your thing in the DJ community in Northern Virginia. That's super dope. And it's a super dope spot as well, which like I did not expect as much EDM things going on around there, but there is like a lot of good little spots out there.
Yeah, you're exactly right, man. That's why we're doing it. But we're regrouping this year. We've got some new things. I think we finally hit our stride this summer because we kind of shifted our focus from kind of more events, weekly stuff to
that's powerful to us.
To like doing like what you were saying, getting out there to get to know people better, getting to support others, and I mean, part of the reason to do that is so that it pays off and getting gigs, but also like you feel like you're building and more part of the community. And, you know, we're all on that journey in one way or another together. And, you know,
and we're doing podcasts.
Yeah. And we're talking to people, man. You know, people
cool. I really like
it. So, all right, man, we're hitting the hour. I've got, these edits when they get past an hour.
No, I got you. No, thank you for having me. See what I'm saying? Teamwork. That's what it's all about. Thank you for having me. Let me know when the episode comes out. I'll share it and boost it out, put it out there. That's fun.
Of course. Ryan, you're up, man. That's your question.
What's my question? What's your favorite Hawaiian food?
My favorite Hawaiian food. I love poke bowls or acai or acai. I don't know how to pronounce it, but acai bowls, poke with salmon. Love me some salmon. But that's the pineapple on pizza. I respect it.
There you go. That's what I like to hear.
But where can they find you on socials, Brandon?
It's Brandon Williams on Instagram or DJ Brandon Williams on YouTube and TikTok. Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect, man. That's awesome. Hey, thanks again for joining us. Like, enjoy this conversation. Like you said, we're rooting for you, and looking forward to seeing what's coming next.
Thank you. Have a good one. Thanks again. See you, Ryan. See you. Peace. Awesome. No, it's a really cool platform that you guys are doing. I like you're interviewing DJs and electric music artists. That's super dope.
Thank you.
Yeah, you were kind of on the list just because we're like Hawaii is like just sort of
it's a dope location.
Pretty dope, man. Yeah.
Super nice.
Yeah.
So you'll appreciate this, man. I this morning I did another one in Kampala with one of Jordan's friends there, Richard O'Doy.
Yeah.
So
Ooh, okay.
I've like podcast in the morning, did my like whole day of work, day job, and now podcast in the afternoon. So, or evening, I guess.
The grind never stops. The grind never stops.
This morning was a caffeinated podcast. This one is, we're just starting with the high noons.
If it wasn't for my commitment to do a show tomorrow, I would have flew all the way to Hawaii and surprised Tommy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You guys could have came. That'd been dope.
On your side.